Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to use React context in latest version of Next.Js, which is 14 point something. Uh, let's begin with setting up a project, empty project where I can show you things. So why I'm doing this video? I'm doing this video because couple of things since latest Next.js. Yeah, why not? Since latest Next.js, things have been changed. Everything is server side, and it makes things quite complicated, to be honest. And fuck it, there are so many configuration lol. So every component is server side. You cannot really share a state between components, at least if you think about it. But you can, and there are ways. And if we type here context, we might see something here, right? So when to use server and client side component? Boring. Client side component, server side component. How about Next.js React component, React context component? I'm going to show you like something I read on Next.js website, which is what we are going to do, and whatnot. Okay, so create context in server side. There's this problem, this page under problems, which says to use a context you need to make it client side, which is basically the secret of this video. So if I do next context tutorial, by the way, what do you think, what do you guys think about this latest version of Next.js? Is it good? Is it not good? Like, what are your opinion? I think it's great, but I don't know, maybe I'm kind of weird. So first thing, you kind of need to know about context a bit. It's pretty important since you're learning about context. We use context to share state between parent child, and like not even parent child, the neighbor components and two unrelated components to each other. So it's pretty important, right? So I will just create here a new file under providers, uh, context.jsx, and yeah. And if I just ask Google, create simple React context to share state of a count variable, it might just work, who knows. My point being, this video is not about creating context and whatnot. It's about creating context in React.js, which is just putting a use client on top of it. So use client is kind of a reserved keyword that we put on top of files to let uh, the this Next.js know that we want it to be client side component instead of server side, because by default everything is server side, if that makes sense. So yeah, now here, this is basic. This is pretty important actually. The layout is a special file, and especially when it's directly under the app directory, because this is root layout means everything that renders in the application contains whatever code you write here. So if I write here p tag lol or something like that, I shouldn't put p tag on the top of body. That's just wrong, but I'm just saying it's pretty important. All right. Pm run dev, and just running something else on port 3000. So I'm gonna show you 3001. And you know, you saw lol for a second, right? Here it is. And why is it here? Because it's part of this thing, root layout. So whenever you are, root layout will be just there, like. And this is server side component, so it renders on the server side. Now what we gotta do is we gotta create a context, which we already did, and we need to wrap this root component. The root component means root layout with this context, you know, so it will be a provider and can access all the states within this counter, if that makes sense. Now suppose you are using something like Mantine or something else, you can still use this same file, the root layout, for the um, setting up Mantine and any other UI library that you may have, or even just any other component that requires initial setup on the top of the file, or whatever is written in the npm package. You know, maybe you are using React Slick or some weird table package. I don't care. The point is you gotta have that, and that's how your thing will work. All right, now we have already created count provider. We just need to import count provider, and yeah, we have it here, and that's it. Now this is kind of a global state actually. Even if I don't use it for I'm using it for specifically count state right now, but you can literally just create a, if it's a TypeScript project, you can just create a type which says you can have a bunch of things here like authentication and whatnot, like, you know, read the token from local storage. You can use effect here and read things from local storage, which is pretty awesome. Like read from read from local storage, read JWT from token storage, and say if it's valid, and set user state, and lucky finally share straight with the app. So even ChatGPT knows, like ChatGPT is pretty smart, so it knows what I'm trying to say here. My point is you can have this thing with this global state with this latest version of Next.Js. It's no big deal. Oh yeah, by the way, I need to show you, I guess. Lol. So it's all right, I can show you. Now we have a counter here, and we have a set counter, and so let's see which file is it. Page.jsx. Yeah, let's say it's page.jsx, where we put the component. And let me create another components, and under components I would say tutorial.jsx, and ifc, and it's a functional React component, and first letter should be capital, right? And I need to use the context here, so okay, whatever. I just don't like using dot operator with that. Count context, and that's where I think I should be using TypeScript, because, you know, you can, if I don't have this, I don't know what should be here, but I would just guess it right now. And I mean, chat this Copilot already knows, but it's kind of nice to have the typing, you know. Now let's just use the Copilot. Alright, it's too it's too much, it's like everywhere, so let's not fuck with it. And there's some boilerplate code. I think I might have messed up the size in this tutorial and in some of the previous tutorials as well. I think so. And yeah, like I should be increasing this font size, I guess, something like this. Anywho, if I put tutor, if I can spell it, if I put tutorial in there, and it says you cannot dot into client module from server side component, you can only pass. Okay, it got angry, and I think use client is a solution here. I hope so, because otherwise I'm clueless. And yes, it is. And you increase the state. So okay, let's do one thing. We increase the state from one place. All right, actually we need it here, my bad. We increase the state from one component and we show it via different component, because that would be fun, right? Why not? And this is tutorial 1, and the other component would be tutorial -2.jsx, and this can be REFCE and tutorial 2, and yeah, this is where I can use the so this is where I can use the context to read the value of count. Use context, count context, count. And I would rather suggest you guys to use TypeScript when doing something like this, because it makes your life much more easier. Unless you're like me and you hate yourself and your life, then you will make a stupid mistake and use JavaScript alone. That is just sad. Even just saying it is sad. And now we use tutorial 2, and now you see tutorial 1 is just for incrementing, and see how tutorial 2 is changing when I change tutorial 1, and both the components are unrelated to each other. I can just render it this on the first page and this on the second page, and it doesn't matter as long as you refresh the page. And if you don't want this to happen, then what you should do is, when you increment or when you do set state, which is a function, I can override this set state. Actually, I can override that function, that component, or that's, yeah, this function. I can override this function and make it like so. It also adds the value to the local storage. Override count, set count. Did I get it right? I guess I did. Value is here, and local storage dot set item set count and set count. This is how you override it. And when I want to share the set count, I will just share this, and just wait, and I can now use effect and I can now use effect and just do this, and which is pretty cool because now even if I refresh the page, I should be, at least I should be, yeah, I should be seeing uh, the count before the refresh. Sorry, I'm a little um, tired today actually. And it shows 0 first and then it turns, right, which is pretty awesome. And now you can see like I'm totally refreshing, I'm doing a hard refresh and sorts of refresh, but it's taking it from local storage, setting the state, and now we see the reflection in the real time in two different components. From one component we can set the state, from other we can read the state. And that's yeah, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. You can read this nice docs from Next.Js, which is awesome, where they teach you about rendering methods and routing, which is cool. And we can make like hundreds of videos around this, because documentation is pretty much not as good as it should be, because there's so much to explore in this latest version of Next.js, but there's just so little that's written here about those features, and I would really find it helpful to have some examples lying around of big and small things. One of those may be sitemaps, but well, who am I to tell a big corporate what to do, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was it for this tutorial. If you like it, good for you. If you didn't like it, then yeah, then hate me, I don't know. Goodbye.